The motorsports world is where legends are made, the unthinkable happens, and barriers are broken. One man harnesses the power of an industry every week. This is the General Tire Down and Dirty Show, powered by Polaris Razor, with Jim Beaver.
Welcome to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I am Jim Beaver here, your host, just like I have been for almost 10 years now, keeping it locked and loaded. Welcome to everybody tuning in on Sirius XM Channel 211, Dan Patrick Radio, Sports Byline, the U.S. American Forces Network, Podcast One, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, downanddirtyshow.com, Spreaker, everywhere else you can listen to this show. Our local affiliates, man, we are all over the place. But, yes, thank you guys for tuning in. It is one hell of a big show that we've got today. We are pulling out all the stops, massive, slam-packed show delivered right for your listening enjoyment this weekend. We have none other than IndyCar owner Ed Carpenter, also Indy 500 pole sitter. Yes, Ed Carpenter is going to be on the show today. He's also my esports co-partner in our new IRX team. So we got Ed Carpenter on the show. Then we've got Kelly Crandall from Racer Magazine. She's also a podcaster herself. She's going to be calling in. We're going to dissect the NASCAR calendar. And then for you off-road fans, hour number 2 is all about off-road. Starting off in hour number 2. Got my good friend Matt Martelly with Mad Media, the man behind the Mint 400, as well as this coming weekend's UTV World Championship. He's going to be on the show to tell us all about the big event coming up, some of the celebrity guests, and how you can tune in or show up and enjoy the action. And then to cap it off, we got a big one, a good friend of mine, one of the baddest dudes in desert racing, Mr. Dan McMillin, coming off an overall victory at the Baja 500 in Mexico last weekend. Dan, we got him locked in for 2 segments to talk about the world of desert racing, trophy trucks, and that epic victory that got the monkey off his back he just took a week ago down in San Felipe at the Baja 500. Probably talk a little bit about the Baja 1000 that's here to come. And, off-road. It's a crazy place right now, and we'll use Dan to help us dissect, what's going on in the world of off-road. So, yeah, let me tell you, full-packed show today, pulling out all the stops, 4 guests. Also, I've got some time to take some fan questions. If you got some fan questions, hit me up. It's at JimBeaver15 on Twitter. I would love to get those questions answered in the show. If you DM me on other forms of social media, I probably won't get to them until afterwards, so we'll have to cycle those in for next week's show. But thanks to all of you for tuning in. It is going to be one great 2 hours of radio coming at you right here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Trust me, you don't want to go anywhere. Things are just getting started cranking. Whether you're looking for a tire that balances high performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in wet and dry conditions, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the all-new G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, cruising with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
Conditions off the pavement are always changing, so why settle for a light bar that just turns on and off? The Ridgid Adapt is a revolutionary new light bar that will automatically select from 8 beam patterns that range from a widespread 90-degree flood to a 15-degree spot based on your vehicle's speed. Try that with your knockoff light bar. A dash-mounted controller allows the user to toggle between adaptive mode, beam patterns, and RGBW accent lighting. With Adapt, it's easier than ever to own the night.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandall, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or @VisionWheel on social media to learn more.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back here to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, cranking away in the studio. We got a big week upon us, big weekend. I mean, we got IndyCar racing. We just got done with the Baja 500. Heading into the UTV World Championship next weekend that I will be racing. I mean, we are lock-loaded. It is, we got a lot going on in the world of motorsports. I mean, Crandall just wrapped up. We crowned some champions there in the Midwest. We've had some Ultra 4 racing. It was a big, big month of September. I mean, you start thinking about it. We had Lucas with a triple header. We had 2 Crandall events in addition to the big one there. On Sunday at Labor Day, obviously, between NASCAR, NHRA, everything else going on. And then, we got Formula D kicking back off and, Baja 500 going on. It's, Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series with that triple header we mentioned. I mean, we got some rally coming up. It's kind of crazy. Like we said earlier, we were doing this show this spring going, this is crickets. We don't even have a whole hell lot to talk about. Now, it's almost like we got too much. In a show like this, we got 4 guests, and, we're trying to cram everything into a 2-hour show, and it definitely could be a 3-hour show this week, and definitely a good time to be a motorsports fan. That's for sure. And, that being said, though, I got the UTV World Championship coming up in a week, and, I haven't talked too much about it. We'll have Matt Martelli on in hour number 2 to talk about that event here on the show. But, big thing is I actually was able to go out and pre-run that earlier this week. Had my co-driver Bryant come with me, and then had Mia Chapman, who I manage. She's running the NA class, and her co-driver Erica Sachs, who's a world-class athlete. She came on, out too, and we went and did it. And I got to tell you, this is 29 miles of hell. It is a tough UTV course. I don't know that I've ever raced on anything quite like it. Some sections you'd almost think it's meant for a dirt bike. There's a little bit of rock crawling, some really, really technical type terrain, really tough to get around some of the corners in a 4-seat car like I was in. It's got me really excited for race day. I think it's definitely going to separate, the real racers from the pretenders. Let's put it that way. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities to destroy your equipment out there. And, I'm really, really kind of excited about it. It's not often that an all-new off-road race and event comes to the world of off-road. It's few and far between. We've only got so much open land, so many opportunities to actually race. And for something like this, I mean, this terrain's never been raced on before. To actually be able to be put together and us go out and race it, I mean, that's got me pumped. It's got me amped. I mean, there's going to be one heck of a fun time come race week next week. And so, and they've got all the festivities that you would see at the Mint, but it's, here for the UTV Worlds. And, it's going to be a fun event. So, I know we'll talk about it with Matt Martelli, but I'm just telling you, if you're in the area, head out to Lake Havasu this weekend. This coming weekend, check out the UTV Worlds racing on Friday and Saturday. You got the UTV Festival on Thursday. I think that extends through the weekend as well. But it's going to be probably one of the biggest events of the year. We got people coming from all over the country out, some of the best UTV drivers in the world, and I really, really think this one's going to be huge. I'm excited about it. I'm racing in a new division, so that's got me pumped as well. It's definitely going to be an epic good time, and can't wait to get out there and get things dirty in the dirt in Lake Havasu, especially on this crazy course that they've got laid out. So, that's kind of one of the big things that's coming up. But in addition to that, man, we got to talk. I'm an IndyCar guy. NASCAR, we're going to jump into that with Kelly Crandall, talking about that schedule. She's coming up here after the break. We're going to talk about the NASCAR schedule. But IndyCar switching it up, too, with their schedule and running something a little bit different. A little lighter on ovals, a little heavier on the road courses, bringing in that new race in Nashville. I got to tell you, Nashville's got me pumped. Pumped to get out there to Nashville. That brand new Grand Prix there. Unique, diverse track. I think unlike we've ever seen before in IndyCar. And running a little bit different format. A couple times in Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the GP course. Doubleheader at Texas. Obviously Long Beach is going to be back. Sorely missed that this year. But IndyCar pulling out all the stops, shaking it up, running an all new schedule and calendar for next year. It's unfortunate for oval fans that they're going to be a little light on the ovals, but I really, really think this is shaping up to be one hell of a 2021 for IndyCar. And from what I understand too, it's going to be a lot of cars on the grid. I know most motorsports are hurting. It sounds like IndyCar may actually be expanding their grid and having more full-time entries in 2021. Which really is unheard of right now with sponsorship dollars, things like that. But it seems like IndyCar, they've got something good going for them, and seems to be working into their favor. And I know last week we talked about my good friend Zach Veach, big friend of the show, and he had lost his seat there at Andretti, and he's looking for a ride for next year. But sounds like James Hinchcliffe may slot in and take that next year if they can find the funding. But one of the bigger stories coming out is now with the McLaren team, Helio Castroneves is going to be filling in one of the seats there for an injured driver. And here you've got a legend, one of the greatest of all times, and Helio is going to be running in that McLaren car. First time we've seen him in forever run anything that wasn't a Penske car. Penske pretty much defined his career, but now we're going to see him in, in that McLaren, which I think is interesting. You've got one of the youngest guns who's in a fight for this points championship paired with a veteran potentially next year of Helio Castroneves' caliber. And, man, you want to talk about good things coming out of that program. I could see massive things happening, for that program. A guy like Sebastian Bourdais, he's got he's got a home full time there at AJ Foyt Racing next year. So, that's going to be some big news. But, man, I don't know, IndyCar, it's going to be interesting. Now I guess the biggest weight we've got is going to be potentially be the NHRA calendar and finding out what that looks like. I have no idea. I heard they're going to shake things up. Rumor is NHRA is really putting a plan in place to be successful for the long haul. They don't want things like 2020 to ever happen again. So I think we're going to see some changes to events, formats, and the way NHRA operates. But really excited to see what happens for them. And then, it sounds like Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series. Little rumors I've heard potentially is that, Lucas Oil is going to go to a spring series and run 3 races, but it's going to be 3 triple-header weekends. So 9 total rounds of racing over 3 weekends in the spring. So drivers will be able to do that Lucas Oil Spring Series and then turn around and run the entire championship off-road calendar in the, in the summer and fall. Sounds like they're looking to expand their calendar past the 5 events they currently have and add a few more into the mix. So I think, off-road is going to be an interesting calendar, and I think for short course racers, might be the first time in a long time that they can run for a good portion of the year and, run 2 full championships and not have any conflicts, and I think that's going to be huge if that, in fact, actually does happen. And, to Lucas Oil's credit, making that shift, obviously they didn't have Pro 4s this year, but once they do make that shift, it's going to lend itself to allowing Pro 4s to run both series. So we may see Pro 4s back in action in the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series, which has me really excited, and then we're also going to see, it seems like the UTV divisions, you got a great crop of UTV drivers, people like Corey Weller, Miles Cheek running on the West Coast. They don't run in the Midwest. You got the phenomenal drivers like Andrew Carlson, Jason Luberg, CJ Greaves. They don't run on the West Coast. Now maybe we're going to see this super series of UTVs going back and forth across the country doing battle, and that's got me excited, as a UTV fan and a fan of that discipline. So I don't know, not only that, we've got Dakar news coming out of Polaris Razor. We talked about it last week. Now all of a sudden the driver roster was announced earlier this week. We've got Wayne and Kristen Matlock and Craig Scanlon. They're going to be manning the Team Razor at the Dakar Rally. So we've got that big story with those 3 huge athletes. I mean, this is a massive show. We got a ton to talk about today, and we're just diving into things. So coming up after the break is going to be Kelly Crandall. Then we have an IndyCar team owner and driver, Ed Carpenter, and then Matt Martelli and Dan McMillin, all here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Don't just shred your way through any off-road rugged terrain. Get into gear with GSP XTV and let us redefine your adventure. The GSP advantage of quality and performance sets a standard for UTV axles. We strive to provide premium ATV and UTV axles to keep you shreddy ready. Kick up some dirt and get in the driver's seat with GSP XTV. With over 35 years of experience, drive with a company you can trust. Drive with GSP. For more information, please visit us at gspxtv.com today.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to welcome my good friend, fellow podcaster, Kelly Crandall with Racer Magazine to the show. What's going on, Kelly? Here you're on the road to Talladega.
Yeah, about to be here soon. Another exciting weekend now that I can take a break from writing all this schedule news. So I'm ready for racing once again.
Yeah, well, and schedule news, I guess that's the big thing. I told you, I said, I text you and say, we got to get you on this week because, wow, I got to say, this is probably the first time in a long time I'm really, really excited about the NASCAR schedule. Not saying that I don't get excited about NASCAR, but the schedule's been pretty vanilla the past few years, and I got to tell you, this one's got me excited. They threw everybody for a loop.
Yeah, the word that Ben Kennedy and Steve O'Donnell used the other day was bold. They used that a few times, bold. And they wanted to really evolve the schedule and shake it up. And they've been talking about this for the past couple of years, but haven't really done it. I think normally when the schedule would come out, it'd be a date change here or a date change there, but all the tracks have been the same for years. I mean, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. I mean, you can go online and pull up the schedule from 2004 or 2000 or whatever it is. And by and large, the schedules are mostly the same when it comes to the racetracks. So to actually see them move races, to bring in new venues, to change a format like at Indianapolis or Bristol with the dirt, I think they should get a lot of credit because they actually have now taken the step to make the schedule different. This is going to be completely different than what we've seen the past couple of years.
Well, and I think, I guess we can kind of break this down a little bit because I definitely want to key in on Bristol Dirt at some point. But I think the biggest thing for me is a fan of motorsports in general is like when they made the call for the Roval at Charlotte. It was something different. But I think a lot of people went, well, if you're going to add a road course, and I know there was kind of, it was Charlotte, there was already a date there, but a lot of us go, if you're going to add a road course, we've got these amazing facilities in this country that don't get used but once or twice a year. Why aren't we going to Road America? Why aren't we going to Circuit of Americas? And I know there's a lot of politics involved, things like that, but I feel like NASCAR took that to heart, and now it took them a couple of years, but now we're seeing some of the best road courses in the country, some of them in the world, now being put on the NASCAR schedule. Like, that's got me excited, and not only that, but we've gone from 3 to 6 now. This is huge. I mean, there's a complete different dynamic into the way that teams approach the NASCAR series, because the road course is kind of, it was one of those where, yeah, they were important, but they weren't really that important because it was only 2 races on the calendar, but now 6, that's a big chunk. They've got to really concentrate on their road setups.
Well, you have to remember NASCAR handcuffed themselves a little bit when they did that 5-year track sanctioning agreement, so they really couldn't change much, and that's why I think you saw a change that they could make was the date that they had at Charlotte. They turned that into a Roval. Now that agreement is up, you're seeing the fact that they can actually go to new venues. So you get a Road America, you get a COTA, the Indianapolis road course. So, yeah, to their credit, they knew they had to wait kind of until this agreement was up to really start making bigger moves, but they tried to kind of appease people by throwing the Roval in there. It was something different, but there was still that call for we need more of a balance on the schedule between intermediates, road courses, and short tracks. So I think right now it's definitely a move in the direction of the road courses because we've doubled those. And the biggest thing to take in is that Steve O'Donnell said, look, we're not done. There's still 2022 they're already looking at and beyond. So for the people who are saying, well, it's great we've got all these road courses, but what about short tracks? What about really kind of balancing this schedule out between all of these, these three different types of racetracks? That's probably coming. That's the next thing. So, yeah, you now have to take road courses a little bit more seriously. You're going to have to definitely pay more attention, be more prepared. They're not just one-offs anymore. They're not something that is unique to the schedule anymore where you'd show up once or twice a year and just hope for the best. Now these teams really have to be prepared and incorporate this into their schedule, into their planning, into their prep, and be ready for it because they're a large chunk of the schedule.
Well, and I want to talk about, one of the I guess the surprises, and it's been rumored for a while that NASCAR was looking at possibly, going to Bristol Dirt. And I know there's been a big fan outcry for it, and NASCAR said that's part of the reason, they listen to the fan base. But this is the first time, and I don't know, we're talking decades at this point, lots of decades, that NASCAR at the Cup level has had a dirt track on the schedule. And obviously we know trucks have been running at Eldora for a few years, and it's always, well tuned in on TV and because it's something different. But, this is, wow, Kelly, this is big. We talk about road courses. Yeah, there's a little bit of change, but going dirt track racing for NASCAR at the Cup level, this is a massive, massive change and a different approach for these teams for that one special event.
Absolutely. It's going to be really unique. It's going to be different. It's going to throw these teams for a loop. It's going to keep them on their toes for sure, and especially the drivers. I think it was, 1970 was the last dirt race, I believe, or I could be wrong. It might be even longer than that. I think it was Richard Petty in Raleigh, North Carolina. So it's been quite a while. Bristol has done it before. They hosted the World of Outlaws in 2000 and 2001, so they feel very confident that they know how to transform the racetrack into a dirt track. So they've got that going for them, and they think that this is the place where the Cup cars will put on a good show. I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm trying to go in open-minded. I don't know exactly why we have to put Cup cars on dirt, but again, I appreciate the fact that we are trying to shake things up. We are trying to do things differently and give these teams a little bit of everything to navigate to be the best in any given season. So Bristol Motor Speedway did cite that it was fan demand as to why they are doing this. They said they've had people ask for this for many years. So now they've got it, and let's see how it works. So I'm trying to be optimistic. I know it is going to be exciting. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to tune in because it's something different and something new. Dirt racing fans are going to probably be very interested to see how NASCAR pulls something like this off. And again, it's the first time in a very long time that the Cup Series teams and drivers are going to have to deal with a scenario like this. So once again, why not? It's going to be exciting, and just try to be optimistic and positive about it.
Yeah, well, and I know, one of the other big stories coming out, I feel like NASCAR, they've had so many big stories the past week or two pop up. And I mean that in a good way. There's so much positivity coming out of 2021 and looking at the future. And if there's been one organization that somehow figured their way to maneuver through this pandemic and get people excited about next year, it's definitely NASCAR. But I want to talk a little bit about one of the biggest news in all of sporting, this past month was the announcement that Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan, and Bubba Wallace, they have a new Cup team. What's your take on this? I don't know how this can be bad. I'm looking at this going, I know Michael Jordan's had, he's had, I think, AMA Superbike teams in the past. He's been involved in motorsports, big motorsports fan. Obviously, Denny, he's, one of the current generation stars of NASCAR. And then you bring in Bubba Wallace, who, by and large is probably one of the future stars of NASCAR. Obviously, his stock has definitely increased over the last season or two. But, I'm looking at this as a big play. This is going to bring a lot of new eyes into NASCAR, I think.
Well, that's the hope, right, is that attention like this and news like this is going to reach more than just our bubble. And I think we've already seen that, because even with the announcement, which didn't have many details to begin with, other than Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan are going to be the team, and Bubba Wallace is going to drive for them, it was already reaching mainstream media and websites and news organizations that normally probably wouldn't write an everyday NASCAR story. So that right there gets the buzz rolling. Now they can keep that going when they announce a car number, when they announce sponsors, when they announce their manufacturer and their team name and all this other stuff. They can carry that forward to really create a lot of attention going into next year. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm going to be curious to see how this looks long term. You know, I definitely think, to your point, it's going to put some eyeballs on the sport, and everybody's going to be curious of how it goes. And, you know, definitely when you have Michael Jordan, who is a legend in the NBA, coming into NASCAR, and you know, a lot of talk this year about inclusion and making this more open and you know, for black people and black fans and black drivers and all this. And it's just, that's a perfect combination. But I want to look long term and hope that it stays that way. Hope that this is a good thing for the sport in the long run, and it's not just one of those where everybody gets excited at the start of this and it kind of peters out. So, you know, hopefully they'll be competitive, that they'll get the right cars and the right equipment and the right people in the right places, and it can actually be a team and be a storyline that is consistent week to week, is a good thing week to week, has people talking week to week, and that would be the best way to keep people interested in the sport.
Yeah. Well, talking about, you know, exciting news, I mean, obviously we are in playoffs right now with NASCAR. You know, this is crunch time here. I mean, obviously we're, you know, down to the round of 8, or excuse me, the round of 12, and we're going to Talladega. Kurt Busch coming off a big win there at Las Vegas. I mean, what do you think over the next 2 rounds, or the next 2 races? I mean, we've got Talladega, we've got Charlotte, we've got the Roval, as we talked about. You know, I know Kevin Harvick's got a lot of momentum, but Kurt Busch taking that first victory there of the round of 12 in Las Vegas. What do you think we've got upon us here at Talladega and then at the Roval? I mean, 2 vastly different tracks back to back.
Well, 2 vastly different tracks and 2 wild cards. I think that goes without saying. I think the wildness of the Roval the last 2 years has proven that it can definitely shake things up in a hurry. So, and we know Talladega is going to do that. I mean, that's just natural. So I think this is wide open, to be honest with you. I know Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin have very healthy points gaps going into Talladega, but that could be wiped out this weekend. You know, one big crash or lack of stage points or whatever it may be, and somebody else like a Kurt Busch, you know, maybe an Eric Almirola or Austin Dillon, somebody goes and takes advantage of it, and it's really going to keep turning this playoff grid on its head. So I think it's great for the sport that we have these 2 races coming up that really are going to keep things wide open. It's going to keep the drivers on their toes. Nobody but Kurt Busch, as for right now, can breathe easy and enjoy what's going to happen. So I think Talladega will be typical Talladega. I really expect it to shake things up. You know, I think we're going to have some accidents, of course. I mean, we had a crazy finish in the spring with Eric Almirola sliding backwards across the start-finish line and a photo finish. And I think this race will play into that. I think this race will play into the unknown. I think it's going to play into the unpredictability, and we could see somebody go up there and take advantage of it, or you can see somebody who's not a playoff driver go up there and do it. So there's a lot of X factors. There's a lot of variables this weekend that I think are going to really keep this playoff grid tight going into then the elimination race at the Roval. And again, as I said, the Roval's proven its worth. It's proven that it can shake things up. It could come down to the last lap and cars trying to get to the start-finish line damaged and people spinning in the final chicane. And I'm excited. Again, I think this is great. I think this round really, really shapes up nicely. NASCAR did a great job kind of positioning these races because, again, it's just going to keep everything wide open.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Kelly, we are up against the time break, but it's always fun catching up. Thank you for calling into the show. Have some fun down there at Talladega. I'm looking forward to tuning in on TV, and I think the next 2 rounds between Talladega and Charlotte, the Roval, are going to be exciting.
Absolutely. Well, I always appreciate you having me on. It's been very busy, exciting times, and again, I think that's going to continue Sunday, so appreciate it.
And we'll be back after this on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandall, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports, the sound of the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I would like to welcome, I guess, my co-team owner in the iRacing IRX series, Ed Carpenter, to the show. Man, what is happening, Ed?
There's been a lot going on this year with COVID and schedule changes galore in IndyCar, and in the midst of it, I kind of got back to iRacing with IndyCar iRacing Challenge, which ultimately led me into the LCQ league that ended up having me teaming with you in the Rallycross Championship. So it's been a wild ride this year.
Yeah, it definitely has been a wild ride. Had you done a lot of iRacing prior to the pandemic hitting and things like that? I know you said that's kind of what drew you back in. In previous, had you done a bunch, spent a bunch of time on the service at all?
So way back in 2010 and 11, I spent quite a bit of time on there. Had our final child in 2012, and I put the iRacing rig in the attic and brought it out of the attic when the IndyCar thing started during the pandemic. And iRacing had come a long way. My computer wasn't really powerful enough to run the graphics anymore. So I bought a new computer, and now I've basically replaced everything. So yeah, I've gotten back into it. It's been fun getting back to it. At the time when I stopped doing it, my kids were just so young, and it was hard to find time. Now that the kids are getting a little older and are more active and don't need mom and dad quite as much for everything. I've been able to get clearance from Heather to get back on the rig a little bit.
Yeah, well, and LCQ League, you guys are having a ton of fun over there. I know, it's something kind of Connor and Pastrana and those guys kind of spearheaded, but it looks like you guys, that's got to be something kind of different because you're not running against a bunch of sim pros. You guys are just a bunch of buddies out having some fun.
Yeah, the whole thing is fun, and the way we formatted it with not knowing what cars we're going to drive or what tracks we're going to go to, kind of, it takes the pressure off of everyone to go out and do any prep or any homework and just go have a good time, try to entertain, the fans from all of our backgrounds. And I think it's gone over pretty well, and hopefully it's something that we continue to do here into the future.
Yeah, well, I know now all of a sudden you've shifted not only IndyCar team owner, you're an esports team owner, man. I know you and I kind of collaborating on this IRX series, but I guess the good news is we got Connor in the top 10 to kick things off, so that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it was great. He had a good run to get into the final. It looked like Jake was on his way in a couple times in his heat in the LCQ, but it's pretty intense and aggressive racing in those cars, and weren't able to make it happen. But I think if we can put one of the four in the finals any given week, I don't think that's a terrible thing. Hopefully we can shoot towards 50% or higher moving forward, but it's a competitive series.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think, just getting in that main event is going to be tough and tougher throughout the year, but looking forward to seeing the way that plays out. But let's talk a little bit about IndyCar. We'll go back to iRacing in a minute, Matt. I know, obviously, we're another big one. We're at Indianapolis Motor Speedway this weekend, and in the IndyCar series, you guys are getting ready to compete. I know, practice is going on. You guys are on track? I know practice doesn't officially start yet, correct? Or you guys are on track today, right?
Yeah, we practiced right out just about an hour from now. You can catch that on NBC Gold. And then we qualify at like 6:20 tonight. So it's a long day here at the Speedway, but not complaining. The sun's shining. We've got fans here, and got a doubleheader to lead us into the weekend.
Yeah. How tough has it been on you specifically? I know it's been tough on the drivers, but you double as a driver and as a team owner. I mean, as a team owner, you've had some challenging years, but how, in the big scheme of things, how much more challenging has this year been with everything that's gone on to keep sponsors happy, drivers happy, get the team on the grid? I mean, this has been it's had to been a stressful year for you, Ed.
Yeah, it's been tough. I've had other years that are stressful just because you're maybe having an issue or don't have enough sponsors or driver changes, this, that, or the other. But this year you're stressed and you don't even know what you're stressed about half the time. It's been tough in the sense that it's been so unpredictable. There's been, like, Mid Ohio, for example, we were racing there, and we didn't know for sure we were going till the week of the race, or because we weren't going to be able to go if we didn't have fans. So just dealing with the unknown and trying to plan for the unknown, communicate all of the unknowns to our sponsors and trying to keep them engaged. It's definitely been a challenge. I think, coming out of this year, I think it's gonna put us in a position, I think, do an even better job down the road for our partners, just because we've had to get creative and do some unorthodox things to try to deliver some value to the partners. So I think everyone's pretty eager to hopefully have a more normal 2021 and, really be able to start capitalizing on the momentum that we had coming into this year. But COVID really has made it a challenge for our entire industry, IndyCar, NASCAR, all the motorsports. It's been a challenge.
Yeah, well, and I think that's kind of one of the key points I know I've learned on the off-road side with our program, but you'd mentioned, I guess the originality we've had to get really creative, to be able to deliver, partners value. And I think the biggest thing I've taken away is I think it's actually one of the good positives that's come out of this is now us as team owners and stakeholders in some major motorsports series, things like that. Like, I feel like now we've got more arrows in our, arrows in our quiver, or however you want to put it. But I feel like we've got more ammunition, you know what I mean, to use to help partners in the future. And I think that's probably one of the positives that has come out of this is I think we've all, I don't want to say it's going to be easier to deliver ROI, but I think we've learned that there's a lot more ways than we thought of to deliver ROI to partners.
Yeah, exactly. I think we've had to get creative. Has it been able to make up for what we've lost by not being in front of fans and, not being able to entertain, the number of guests that we normally would, the ways that we've tried to overcome that, haven't been able to make up for it, but I think that it's going to be some nice supplemental, things that we'll be able to continue to implement, when we are back to a normal schedule to go, add on to the ways we've operated in the past. So it's a challenge. I can't wait to get to a regular season. It's kind of hard to still wrap my head around that we've only got 2 race weekends left here. The whole thing kind of was a blur just with how wild it's been. But looking to finish off strong. We really need the 20 car especially to finish off strong to put us in a better spot in the points for the overall IndyCar stuff, and hopefully we can make that happen. This is the Indy road course here has been a competitive track for us as a team, and we've always had fast cars at St. Petersburg as well. So hoping to be able to end the season on a high note, hopefully get one of the cars a win. If not, at least get the cars on the podium will be a big boost heading into the off season.
Yeah. Well, all that being said, heading into the offseason, looking at next year, I know one of the biggest, news bites coming out the last couple of days is the 2021 IndyCar schedule, and this looks vastly different than some of the schedules we've seen in the past. I know, ovals we're running a little bit less, which unfortunate for a driver like you who specializes in the ovals, but, doubleheader at Texas. We've got that new event in Nashville. I mean, this is, it's definitely a vastly different calendar than we've seen in the past, Ed.
It is, and unfortunately, I was expecting that a little bit with just some of the challenges that are bleeding over in the next year that we've dealt with this year. For sure, I'm bummed that there aren't more ovals on the calendar. But Indianapolis is still here, which is what gets me out of bed every morning. There are positives. Nashville is going to be a great event. We have nine of our races on NBC next season, which is a positive. But it's definitely a different look. Lost a couple venues and picked up a new one. But I know it'll be an exciting season nonetheless. But hopefully, as we move forward, we can get some more ovals back on. Definitely going to miss Iowa. In my opinion, it was probably our most exciting race of the season every year consistently. So really, really bummed to see that one go. But hopefully, we can maybe find a way to get it back on there someday.
Yeah, well, and I think there's all kinds. I know NASCAR's not going to be running there either. It's kind of a weird situation there with Iowa. But looking at the rest of this year, obviously we've got the race there at Indianapolis on the road course this weekend. Obviously, Indy as well as anybody. What's it going to take to qualify up front and put one of the cars on the box this weekend?
I think we're coming in here with a pretty good package. Connor qualified 8th when we were here early in the season. The conditions are quite a bit different. It's way cooler than it was then. We've got quite a bit more downforce. The race distances are a little different, so that'll mix up the strategy. But definitely going to need to, we need to be starting in the top 10, if not the top 6. And then I think both guys will be in good position to go out and make something happen. So we get 1 75-minute practice, and we qualify this evening for what will be qualifying for race 1, and hopefully we put ourselves in a good position. I know Connor and Renus are both feeling pretty confident with what we have here, but this is one of those races where you'll see the top 10 probably divided by a tenth of a second or less. So you really just got to nail the lap. It'll be the fast time in qualifying should be on the first lap of the red tires. So when you have that pressure of knowing your optimum lap's going to come on 1, you just really got to focus and nail that lap.
Yeah. Well, here's the question. I mean, obviously Indianapolis Motor Speedway, You specialize in ovals now. You haven't really run a lot of road courses for a few years now, but any itch when you're at Indy, you see this road course. I mean, it's Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You grew up around the place. I mean, is there ever any itch to jump behind the wheel at the road course there?
I get the itch all the time, but I know that I've got good guys in the cockpit, and I'm going to rely on them to go out and do a good job. Hopefully we can get a win at Indy, one way or the other. Obviously, we want to win in May on the oval, but I'll take a win across the yard of bricks going the wrong direction too.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Ed, it's always fun catching up. I know you guys got practice and then qualifying later today, my friend. I know obviously we'll be in touch. We got a rallycross program we got to get on top of the box this season too.
Exactly. I think I'll be on practicing for the Daytona event here the next couple of nights. So be running some of the All-Star races leading into the regular championship. So looking forward to that. And, with how few ovals there are next season, I may get some more sim time in than what I even expected.
I think the ratings for sim racing rival some of the TV stuff now online, and I'm looking at this going, I think there's actually some truth in that I think there's some of the really good, race car drivers might be able to double dip with sim racers and actually make a little bit of an income at it. It's kind of crazy that we've got to that point, but I do see sim racing kind of running parallels with the real world stuff at some point in the future.
Yeah, it's one of those industries that has benefited big time from the year that we've had. Don't we all wish we had, some company that sells wheels, pedals, rigs, TVs, all of it, because it's hard to find stuff. Definitely, a lot of people have used that to scratch the itch of racing that we were missing there for a while. But I'm happy to be doing both right now. It's going to be a fun season partnering with you, and I've got a lot to learn about e-racing, so I'll be as much of a sponge as I can. Yeah.
Well, you guys, best of luck this weekend at the road course. I know I'll be tuned in and pulling for you guys, and hopefully next week we can have one of the drivers on with a winner's interview.
Sounds good. Thanks for the time, Jim.
All right, thanks, buddy. And we'll be back after this on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Conditions off the pavement are always changing, so why settle for a light bar that just turns on and off? The Ridgid Adapt is a revolutionary new light bar that will automatically select from 8 beam patterns that range from a widespread 90-degree flood to a 15-degree spot based on your vehicle's speed. Try that with your knockoff light bar. A dash-mounted controller allows the user to toggle between adaptive mode, beam patterns, and RGBW accent lighting. With Adapt, it's easier than ever to own the night.
Don't just shred your way through any off-road rugged terrain. Get into gear with GSP XTV and let us redefine your adventure. The GSP advantage of quality and performance sets a standard for UTV axles. We strive to provide premium ATV and UTV axles to keep you shreddy ready. Kick up some dirt and get in the driver's seat with GSP XTV. With over 35 years of experience, drive with a company you can trust. Drive with GSP. For more information, please visit us at gspxtv.com today.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Just wrapping up a packed hour number 1 with Ed Carpenter, Kelly Crandall, talking a little of everything today on the show. Hour number 2 coming up, man, is all off-road, though. We got Matt Martelli and Baja winner Dan McMillan coming up in hour number 2, so you definitely don't want to go anywhere. But speaking of going anywhere, we're all saying goodbye to summer, but we are saying hello to truck season. General Tire wants to help you get a jump on the winter weather because now, through October 31st, 2020, yep, that's Halloween, with a purchase of 4 new qualifying General Tire light truck and SUV tires, you'll receive up to a $100 Visa prepaid card. Total 11 different tire lines qualify for the promotion, including the Extreme Terrain Grabber X3 and the Aggressive All-Terrain Grabber ATX. Prepare to prove that anywhere is possible this truck season with General Tire. Additional terms and conditions apply, so for full details, visit GeneralTire.com. General Tire, driving the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. And big thanks to General Tire. And, yeah, buy a set of tires. Get $100 to spend with that Visa prepaid card. Who wouldn't want that? I know, count me in on something like that for sure. But, yes, we are, just cranking away here on the show. We got a big hour number 2 coming up with Matt Martelli and Dan McMillan. I'm really looking forward to that Dan McMillan interview. This kid, we've had him on the show in the past. We've had his brother and his cousin on plenty of times. But Dan finally getting over the hump, taking a big victory at the Baja 500, and that has me uber excited to have him on the show because I got to tell you, you get an excited Dan McMillan, if you follow him on social media, you don't know what's going to happen, and I think chaos is going to ensue here in hour number 2 on the show. So if you got any fan questions for any of our guests, hit me up. It's at Jim Beaver 15 on social media. I'd love to get those cranking into the show and integrated into hour number 2 because it is going to be a big one, that's for sure. So, yeah, I am going to take a short break here, get a little caffeine in the system, and we'll be back with more. Hour number 2 is going to be upon us right here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Hang tight, it's going to be a hell of a ride. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm R.J. Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandall, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out VisionWheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Hour number 2 is upon us. Yes, I got some caffeine in the system, and I'm ready to go for an epic hour number 2. Thanks to everybody tuning in on Sports Byline, the U.S. American Forces Network. Big thanks to our military for all you do for our country, and everybody tuning in at downanddirtyshow.com, Podcast One, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere else you're tuning into the show live. Spreaker, we've got Performance Motorsports Network. Man, we're all over the place. Thank you guys. If you switch the dial from Sirius XM 211 Dan Patrick Radio, thanks for continuing to bear with us and and get through the show, because I got to tell you, hour number 2 is not going to disappoint. Matt Martelli with the UTV World Championship in the Mint 400 Mad Media. He is on the line, as well as Baja champ Dan McMillan. He's going to be on for 2 segments, and let me tell you, this is going to be a great hour number 2. That is for sure. But before we get to that, I do have to tell you about promotion. Our good friends and our title sponsor, General Tire's running. And you know what? It is into summer. But you know what? We're saying hello to truck season. That's right. General Tire wants to help you get a jump on the winter weather, because now through October 31st, 2020, with the purchase of 4 new qualifying General Tire light truck and SUV tires, you'll receive up to a $100 Visa prepaid card. Total of 11 different tire lines qualify for the promotion, including the Extreme Terrain Grabber X3, the aggressive all-terrain Grabber ATX, and prepare to prove that anywhere is possible this truck season with General Tire. Additional terms and conditions apply, so for full details, visit GeneralTire.com. General Tire, driving the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. Big thanks to General Tire. I'm going to get those Grabber ATXs I run on my Polaris RZR into some great, I guess, I don't want to say great, some, I guess the proper word would be interesting, hairy, hairball situations here in about a week at the UTV World Championships, but guaranteed they are going to survive the punishment, get me to that finish line. So, yeah, that being said, we got a couple of big guests coming up. If you got questions, once again, at JimBeaver15 on social media. If you hit me up on Twitter, I will get those answered in the show. My promise to you. And let me tell you what, on the esports front and on this radio show front next week, we're going to be dropping some bombs. I mean, epic, huge, huge announcements coming your way right here on the show. I can't wait to roll those out. But let me tell you, if you're a fan of motorsports, if you're a fan of the show, if you're a fan, let's throw a hint out there, of whiskey, yes, you're going to want to tune in and hear that. Big things to come, and big things to come here in hour number 2. And we're going to get to those when we return here to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Get amped. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandall, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'd like to welcome my brother from another, Matt Martelli, to the show. Matt, what's happening, my friend?
What's up, Jimmy? How you doing?
You know, it's funny because as we're doing this, right before we did, I had a Facebook memory pop up, and it was your brother and I at Brian Deegan's last year doing that interview on site at Deegan's compound, and he and I tag teamed the interview with Brian. It's probably one of my favorite interviews I've ever done. You and I have tag teamed some stuff out at events and things like that, and I was like, I don't know, I was like, man, I hope this whole COVID thing gets gone and we can start doing some more of that collaboration and on site. We just need to start podcasting at people's shops, because that one we did with Deegan with your brother and I, it was just next level, man. And I was like, yeah, we need to get back in that groove.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. I'm so over this COVID stuff, and you know, we've got a lot of history and a lot of friends, and it's great to get together with them face to face and just go through the history of racing with them and shooting content with them and everything.
Yeah. Well, speaking of getting over COVID, I mean, I'm over it at this point, and I got to tell you, the UTV World Championship is over it, because we are racing here in about a week, buddy. Lake Havasu has opened up the doors. We are coming with the biggest, baddest UTV racers on the planet to Lake Havasu, 30 minutes from my house. Matt, I mean, this is what the industry needed. I think this is the shot in the arm. We've had a lot of events, but we haven't had a lot of events that were full open door, like come in, enjoy, fans, spectators, vendors, everybody coming. UTV Worlds is that event, buddy.
Yeah, no, look, it's really going to be the first event back is what I would call it. I mean, obviously, you know, we're suggesting that everybody wear a mask and be safe and everything, but, you know, we're an outdoor event, and this week, the mayor basically came out and rescinded the mask order. They've had 0 cases in the city, and you know, again, we're an outdoor event, so you know, we're telling everybody to be safe and follow the protocols. But you know, let's go racing, man! It's time. Everybody wants it. Everybody needs it, and yeah, I'm super pumped to unveil the new course and the new location. You know, my brother and I have been working on this for years, and we finally got it done. And you know, fortunately, the timing works for us. You know, works for everybody actually. So we're excited. It's gonna be a big event. We have, you know, basically 20 hours of live streaming that we're gonna do. Everybody's seen our live stream that we did with the Mint 400. We're gonna be doing a similar thing at the UTV World. So. Yeah, I'm ready. I head out to Havasu tomorrow, and then I'm there for the duration. So, you know, I love doing this, and I'm super excited to share this with everybody.
Yeah, well, and as somebody sitting here that's actually got a sneak peek at the course that you guys are going to unveil this weekend, I got to tell you, Matt, like I've had a few people ask me, you know, about the course. I'm like, it is unlike, and you know, people use this all the time, but I'm literally, I'm saying it right here, and I'm 100% truthful. Nobody has ever raced on a course like this ever in a UTV. Hands down, hasn't happened.
Yeah, listen, absolutely. I mean, one of the reasons that we chose Havasu is because of its unique terrain. You know, it has a very good mixture of everything. And, you know, I don't feel like UTVs have been really tested. They're a very versatile platform, and they can do a lot of things, and they have a radical approach angle. So, you know, this course is specifically designed for UTVs. You know, bigger cars couldn't do it. You know, bikes could do it, but, you know, I don't think it would be I guess it would be a super fun bike course, but man, it is going to be a fun UTV course. It has rocks. It's got sand. It's got a little, you know, rock crawl section in it. It's got some narrow canyons. It's got some wide washes, lots of room for passing. You know, we're letting everybody pre-run so they can have a good look at it and figure out where their alternate lines are going to be. So, you know, it's got a little bit of everything. I'm pumped. I think everybody's going to be excited about it, but you are going to have to earn the win. You're going to have to earn the finish. This is not put the pedal down and cruise to the finish race. You know, you're going to have to do the work.
Yeah, you know, and I was thinking about this after I got done, you know, running the course, and I said, look, There's sections of it that remind me exactly of Parker and the Parker 425. Then there's sections of it that remind me exactly of, you know, even like Mike's Sky Ranch loop in certain areas. And then there's areas that, could even be a little bit of, Johnson Valley and bits and pieces of the KOH course, and I'm like, so take Parker, take Mike Skyranch and the Baja 500 and take KOH and mix them all up, and that's kind of what this track is, with probably some stuff thrown in from other areas of the country that I don't even know,
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the only thing, we were talking about this the other day, the only thing we don't have in there that we would love is the water crossing, right? But I think you're absolutely right. And because of all the time you've spent racing trophy truck and racing UTV, that there's just some courses that you're like, man, that was fun. It was challenging, but it was a lot of fun. And that's what this course is. So, no, I'm pumped. To be honest, I wish I was racing, because this is the type of race course that I love.
Well, and the funny thing is, my first thought is when I was going around it, I was like, this is a course that, let's put it this way. If I got to go out in my UTV on a Saturday or Sunday, I don't want to go and race it on there or drive it on the Mint 400 course. If I'm recreationally driving, I'm not going to do that. But, this course, this is something, these trails and stuff, this is something on any given weekend I would want to go and take my UTV on. Not saying they're easy. I'm just saying I would want to take it out here and do this,
Yeah, I mean, I've been around this course probably 30 times, right? And it's fun, and it's a good, it's a good first year course. I mean, the BLM has already agreed to give us the 60-mile loop for next year, so it'll be an even bigger loop next year, which will allow us to put more racers on the loop safely, and get some bigger, faster sections in there where we'll hit our top speeds. But this 30-mile loop, it's pretty badass, so again, it's like, I'm really excited. The goal of this event was to bring everybody in UTV racing together, but to really show the short course guys, and the kids how cool desert racing is, how much value you get back as a racer from racing in the desert.
Yeah. Well, obviously, we've got the race going on, but we've got the festival. We've got a lot of vendors coming in. I know, there's, you've got the live stream for people who can't make the way out. I mean, give us the full details. People who want to come out on site. I know between Lake Havasu and Parker, still a lot of hotel rooms available. Welcome everybody. You've got a camp area. There's a lot of campground areas around Lake Havasu and even Overflow and Parker. I mean, obviously live stream. Give us the details on that, Matt. There's a lot for people, whether they want to be on site or virtually, sitting at home.
Yeah. First off, all the information is on UTVWorldChampionship.com. So just head over there if you have any questions. But yeah, to run it down, if you're going to come, into town to spectate or to race, there's still hotel rooms available. There's Airbnbs available. On the website, we have several companies that rent campers. That's what I'm doing. I'm staying down by the water with a bunch of friends in Cattail Cove. So, come hang out with us. If you can't make it out, watch our live stream. Our live stream will be on Friday and Saturday, and we'll cover basically every race. So you're going to be with us on Saturday because you're racing on Friday. So that's going to be, unparalleled coverage of UTV racing. Everything we do, we try and take it to the next level, and we've done it again with this. We've implemented some new technology that allows us to put cameras in remote spots. And, we're going to have a combination of ground camera and drone footage from this race. And then, our talent desk, just like we had at the Mint 400.
Sorry to cut you short, Matt, but we have to take a short commercial break.
Conditions off the pavement are always changing, so why settle for a light bar that just turns on and off? The Ridgid Adapt is a revolutionary new light bar that will automatically select from 8 beam patterns that range from a widespread 90-degree flood to a 15-degree spot based on your vehicle's speed. Try that with your knockoff light bar. A dash-mounted controller allows the user to toggle between adaptive mode, beam patterns, and RGBW accent lighting. With Adapt, it's easier than ever to own the night.
Don't just shred your way through any off-road rugged terrain. Get into gear with GSP XTV and let us redefine your adventure. The GSP advantage of quality and performance sets a standard for UTV axles. We strive to provide premium ATV and UTV axles to keep you shreddy ready. Kick up some dirt and get in the driver's seat with GSP XTV. With over 35 years of experience, drive with a company you can trust. Drive with GSP. For more information, please visit us at gspxtv.com today.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'd like to welcome my next guest, who can call himself a Baja champion. It's been a while since we've had you on the show. Dan McMillin, man, welcome back, buddy.
Hey, thanks, Jim. Thanks for having me. Still doesn't feel real, but yeah, we came home from San Felipe at Baja 500 champion, and Justin Bean Smith and I are super excited.
Yeah, well, and I guess, you know, there you can win in trophy truck, right? Or in Best in the Desert and, you know, trick truck. Like, there's wins, but then there's a Baja win. And, you know, and I got to think, and even like this one, you know, it was at San Felipe. And to me, like, a Baja 500 win is just a little bit bigger than a San Felipe 250 win. I feel like this has got to be pretty damn special, man.
Yeah, it's very special. You know, the two races that I remember the most growing up, we're always down in Baja, especially the 500 and the 1,000. San Felipe 250 is obviously a great race, and we thoroughly enjoy it. But the 500 and the 1,000 were the two that I remember the most, watching my dad and my grandpa and my uncle and all the legends like, you know, Rob McCackern and Robbie Gordon, who were at this race. And watching them race, you know, growing up trophy truck, you know, it was pretty special. So this win is definitely something that I'll never forget. And to win a 500 is pretty awesome. Obviously, the Baja 1000 is the Super Bowl of them all, but you know, this is like seems like the AFC or NFC playoff championship game, where you know it's a great step in the right direction for our team for the big one, and we couldn't be more excited. I couldn't be more happy.
Yeah, well, and you know, talk about this race, because I know there's obviously COVID hit the country and hit Mexico and hit the Southwest U.S. just like it did everywhere else in the world, and it's been kind of score, you know, I feel really bad for them because they were dealt a bad hand this year. And, you know, I'm just happy and thankful that we were actually able to go racing down in Baja. And, you know, so I know there was a lot going into this. Obviously, an untraditional 500, this being run out of San Felipe instead of Ensenada. You know, I heard all kinds of swirlings about pre-running, things like that. I mean, you know, how was the event? I mean, obviously, you guys spent some time down there in Mexico doing some pre-running beforehand. Obviously, the race was there. I mean, it was a different than an untraditional, you know, the traditional 500. I mean, you know, there was just a lot swirling around this event. I mean, what's your takeaway from all this, and how did things run, and how was the course compared to, you know, traditional 500?
Well, I think to answer your first question, how was the race overall? I think the race went really, really well. Obviously, we won, but Score did a really good job at kind of keeping us, I wouldn't say under the radar, but doing all the COVID protocols. You know, having all the start and finish out at El Dorado Ranch was really nice. It limited the people going in. The town of San Felipe, I thought was awesome. I remember driving to the start line at 6 a.m. and every gas station and OXXO and 7-Eleven was just packed out the door with fans. And I think the fans finally felt like something normal was back. Like you said, COVID hit and life kind of got thrown on its head. San Felipe was awesome. We brought all our own food as a team. We made the decision as a team to kind of bring our own food. We stayed in some hotels that had kitchens, so we did our own thing. We wanted to lay low and give that respect to the people. Of course, we wore masks in gas stations and where we needed them, but we did our part and Score did their part, and I think the people of San Felipe really enjoyed it. The big question mark for our team was going to be the border wait, because we had heard nightmares about 8 to 10 hour border waits, and I think our guys were across in less than 2 hours, which is about normal for any Baja 500, Baja 1000 coming back. So really, I think the race went unhitched. I think it was a great sign of what was to come. I think the 1000 is going to be a great race, and I think I commend Score for doing it and putting it on. I know there's a lot of naysayers and a lot of people saying, well, they shouldn't have it. Well, at some point, I think, you got to make that call, and we wanted to go racing, and we were excited to go.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about the course, because traditionally, I don't want to say the 500's an easier course, because it's definitely not, but San Felipe's brutal, dude. I mean, it's brutal, and now you go and I mean, Score's been pushing the past couple of years, and it's not necessarily a 250 anymore. They're pushing into the 300 territory and even pushing a little bit further past that, but 500 miles at San Felipe, man. How was that on race day? I know you did the first 330 miles, and then you handed the truck off, but that course, I mean, that's not a place you traditionally want to race 500 miles at.
No, that was a very tough course, and I thought it was a very almost an interesting way for a welcome back to Baja. Here's a hell of a race course, and it was, like you said, it's brutal out there, and it's only getting worse. But the course started and went north, and we did a lot of lake bed, which was a lot of high speed stuff. All the way at the top at Mexicali, and then we just went down through all the stuff, all the rocks, all the washes, all the whoops, everything you can think of. It was thrown at us this race, and we start in Ensenada, we go down the beach, and you got a nice beach breeze. You kind of look over at the ocean, you kind of like, oh, this is really nice. And this 500 was like from green flag to checkered flag, was like, okay, just hang on, buckle up, and hold on, and go racing. And it was very untraditional. We're used to starting right there in front of the convention center in Ensenada, but I think this was a good step in the direction and a good sign for what's to come. And the course was just super, super rocky. We had one flat tire, but we got the BF Goodrich tires, and those things are just unbelievable what they can put themselves through. So we're excited on that. But the washes, we ran a lot of new washes, a lot of old stuff, new stuff, things we've never seen before. So the Score really went above and beyond to make the welcome back just that much more special.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about, obviously, this is a big win for you. And I know, I saw the article that, Off-Road Racer did, and, they did a phenomenal job of kind of telling the story and stuff. But I hate to say you've had a monkey on your back, because I know, everybody likes to joke about fourth place finish, but I've said this on the show before. I'm like, you literally are probably one of the most accomplished drivers of the last 5-6 years. Like you're always there. I mean, there's nobody that's had the finishing rate and top fives that you've had. You just haven't been able to get over the hump and get that victory. But I mean, I look at your body of work the past 5 years, and I'm like, man, it rivals anybody in the sport. How was this for you to finally cross the finish line first and be like, all right, yeah, now we can move on?
Yeah, no, it felt good. Fourth place is obviously I want to compete, and I want to win, and I want to do good. And I got a cousin and a brother that are very, very good. So it's hard. We all three work together hard at free running. So when we go racing, it's always going to be one of them two or both of them. And then you got guys like Menzies and McCachran and Ryan Arciero and all these guys. And it's like, man, fourth ain't bad when you look at it, but I want that breakthrough win. And we've had a lot of I've had second places, I've had a couple thirds, I've had a ton of fourth places. And the fourth place joke started off in 2000, and actually my first trophy truck racing score was 2011. We got fourth overall, and then 2012 500 I got fourth, and then the 2012 Baja 1000 I actually got fifth. But Tavo, I don't know if you remember this, but he got penalized for adjusting his lights on the highway. And I made a joke on Race Desert saying like, oh, am I going to get fourth again? Because it was my third race in a row getting fourth. And so I got fourth. So then the running joke became, oh, Dan's going to get fourth. Dan's going to get fourth. Well, since 2012, I think I've gotten fourth 8 or 9 times, which for me, who's put in a lot of work and who's got a great team that supports me, and we put in just a ton of effort. It's like, man, fourth place again. It's like, I need that breakthrough win or podium and just be more consistent. And this win really kind of took that, like you said, monkey off my back, and it won't make it going forward so annoying if I get another fourth place, because like, hey, you know what? I won the Baja 500, so I'll put up with it. But consistency is everything, and I think that's been my style of driving for so long, is just being consistent and smart. And fourth place ain't bad, but you always want to win.
Yeah, well, I got to say at this point, man, I think everybody's looking at you guys, and between you and Luke, I mean, you know, he's got a big win. You've got a big win this year. I know Luke was pretty close at KOH. Like, I look at this, and I think everybody's eyeing Dan and Luke McMillan going, man, what the hell are we going to do here? These guys are kind of cleaning house in 2020.
Yeah, no, our team is putting in just a tremendous effort. We got 8 guys at our shop that bust their ass to get the pre-runners and the race trucks and the chase trucks and the logistics and the spare parts all ready to go. And it just really shows what kind of team we have, and we're all very, very close. We all get along, and you know, just more kind of due diligence, kind of, you know, crossing our T's and dotting our I's when it comes to the races, and you know, double checking, triple checking things, and being smart on the race course and making smart pre-run decisions. And you know, Luke's had a hell of a year. He won the Mint, and he got second at King of the Hammers. He won the Silver State 300 in Desert. He got third at Vegas to Reno. In fact, I think Luke and Luke's truck have had like 7 podiums in a row, starting from last year's 500 or last year's 1,000. So, and then the truck I raced got second at the Baja 1000 last year with Toby Price and Nhra Calendar. So that truck really knows its way around Baja, I'd say. But the team's putting in a great effort, and between Luke and I and a few other guys, it's going to be a battle at the 1,000.
Yeah. Well, and that being said, I got a couple things. Let's talk about the 1,000, because now all of a sudden you win the 500, and dude, you're sitting in the pole position for the Baja 1000, man. I mean, that's as big as it comes. I mean, you know, how do you approach that, knowing you're the guy leading the pack now?
Well, I tell you what, Jim, I'm pretty excited. I you know, usually we're qualifying, and I've never been a very strong qualifier. I've never been the guy to go out there and hang it out. But when you start first based off a result and you get the win, it's pretty awesome. I've never been the first truck on the road. I've never started first in a race. So this is really, really, really special. And obviously clean air is going to be a big advantage, especially with the 4-wheel drive that we have, depending on which way the course goes. I hope there's no wind, and it's dusty and hot as hell. So we're excited. The team's excited. Luke will be starting third. Actually, I was thinking about this the other day. This is actually the second year in a row that the truck I'm racing will be starting first at the Baja 1000, because Ryan Arciero won the Baja 400 last year, which was the race that my old truck burnt to the ground, and I ended up racing with Ryan in the number 32. Well, 1 year later, the 32 is getting flip-flops, and now the 23 starting first. And so it's I tell you what, this year has been just extremely, I don't know what the word is, exciting, frustrating, everything in between, but kind of a remarkable turn of events here in the last couple months of the year. But we're excited for the 1,000, and we just can't wait to get back down there.
And we'll be back with more with Dan McMillan after this, right here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Whether you're looking for a tire that balances high-performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in wet and dry conditions, or a summer performance tire designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the all-new G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, cruising with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. Looking to have some fun on 4 wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, and Dan McMillan on the show. I guess Baja winner Dan McMillan, as we can officially say now, is one of the past, but this is an overall victory and trophy truck, and definitely wanting to go up on the mantle. But before the break, Dan, we were talking a lot about racing, and you'd mentioned four-wheel drives and all-wheel drives and the technology that's that's been integrated into trophy trucks. I really want to key in on that because I think the past couple of years that's been one of the big storylines coming out of the unlimited truck divisions in off-road. The four-wheel drive starting to kind of emerge, and longest time they were kind of ticking time bombs. And I think that's why nobody ever ran them. And we go back to Herps, and we got what do we got, the McPherson truck and things like that. Nobody could ever really get them to live, but I think now we're seeing, like with you, I mean, they are there, and the stability of the platform is there, and you can get them to the finish line. And I mean, how big is that? Because you're a guy that's you've burned as many laps as anybody in a two-wheel drive truck. How has this switch been to all-wheel drive and the advantages that you have in a race like Baja?
Well, I think the biggest, I get that question asked all the time is, what's the difference? What's the difference? Like, what do you notice the most? And I think the thing I noticed the most isn't so much the grab of it pulling in and out of the turns. You feel it, but I think the thing is the four-wheel drive is deceivingly fast. And by what I mean by that is with a two-wheel drive, when you're going fast over the bumps or you're on a dry lake bed, the hood likes to ride. It likes to float in the front. But with the four-wheel drive, you've got obviously the extra weight in the front with the front diff, but you've got the pull of the front. So you're staying a lot more on plane than the four-wheel drive. So you're driving and you don't think you're going very fast because the truck's not doing anything not getting out of shape, not getting loose and wild like a two-wheel drive. And you look down your GPS, you're like, oh man, I'm doing 90 miles an hour. I'm not going slow. So corners come up a lot quicker in the four-wheel drive because you do have that speed, but you don't think you're going that fast because it's not getting kind of loose underneath you. So the four-wheel drive is certainly, I think, an advantage in a lot of things, especially in Baja with all the silt and the sand that we go through. The graded roads, it's very, very fast. I do think it's not quite as fast as the two-wheel drives and the big, big whoops, but they're certainly not slow. And I think with the front, it pulls you over the next whoop, and you don't have to drive them as hard. And I've never been a guy that's going to go out there and drive extremely hard. So the four-wheel drive suits my driving style. I think it suits my style of just being smart. Let the truck do its thing. Let my pre-running come into play. Long race. Let's get to the finish line and see where we are, and get to halfway and see where we're at. So you saw it with the truck last year at the Baja 1000 when Nasser and Toby raced it. Two very experienced Dakar guys that are used to racing for 15 days. So they kind of know, hey, keep the car alive, keep moving, be smooth, be smart. And it got second last year. So I think the truck and the four-wheel drive, I think with the right driver, it's a very, very good combination. The four-wheel drive is certainly, it had its bumps in the road. It has its hiccups. It has its flaws, but we're starting to learn a lot of things at our shop with them, and we're not telling anyone else. But certainly I think in the next couple of years when I have one and my brother's got one on order right now, which should be done in the next couple of months, I think we're going to be a force to be reckoned with, and the things that we're going to learn in our shop is going to be very, very beneficial.
Yeah. How has it been for you? I mean, obviously, you and your brother, you've got the same background. You guys are both at the top of the game right now. I mean, you can rank probably the top 5 guys in off-road, in regards to trophy truck, and you and your brother are definitely in the mix, How has it been for you guys? Because your dad, obviously, they had the unlimited programs and things like that. He could have started you out anywhere, but you guys started all the way down in 1,600 buggies, and he made you kind of learn and work your way up through the ranks to get where you're at. I mean, how does that come into play with the success that you and Luke are having now? Because you have, you started out at the ground floor where you had to watch in a 1,600 car. I mean, everything, every last rock, whoop, bump, everything was about momentum, and it teaches you a driving style, and then you move up through the ranks. And I think a lot of people that start out in the unlimited cars, they don't have to get that, they don't get the small nuances of off-road, that you do when you start in those limited classes. I mean, how does that come into play now when you're at the top of the game in this all-wheel drive, almost 1,000 horsepower trophy truck?
Well, I think it kind of taught us growing up that, it's all about momentum. It's all about speed. Every corner counts. And in 1,600, you certainly know that. You go to races like Battle at Prim or Ridge of the River where there's 50, 60, 1,600 cars, and you think you have a really, really fast run, and all of a sudden you're like 20th, and you're like, why? Like, how? And the 1,600 cars just really teach you about finding traction, finding momentum, setting a tire out of the groove and kind of keeping your speed up. So once we went from 1,600s to Class 1, we kind of took that, what we learned from the 1600 car, went to the Class 1s and had a lot of success. I won a couple races in Class 1 for the 1 year I was in it, and then took it to trophy truck, but kind of taught you how to be smart too, because then, if you learn with small limited horsepower, you learn about all those things, but you learn it's also easy to get in trouble real quick. And I think a lot of guys that jump in a trophy truck real fast, it's real easy to go fast. I think we learned that, we heard that once from Alan Pfluger and Dust of Glory. It's real smart. It's real easy to go fast, but you got to learn when to slow down. And a lot of these new guys come in here and they go get a trophy truck and they go over a lot of whoops and they think, oh, this is easy, but it's the one that you don't read and you can't read the terrain that bites you in the butt. So Luke and I have certainly learned a lot of the fundamentals of reading terrain and keeping speed up and momentum. And my cousin Andy started in Class 1, but we all grew up driving buggies in the desert and in the sand dunes. So we've learned from an early age that it's easy to screw up. We've rolled buggies in the dunes, but with 1,000 horsepower and 4-wheel drive, it definitely makes it a lot easier. And I think that's why we're so fast, is we don't have to push, we don't have to drive over our heads to keep up, and you always see us at the finish line.
Yeah. So obviously we got Baja 1000 coming up. Then after that, I mean, what's next year look like for you guys? There's a lot of options on the table, Dan. I mean, we've got Best of the Desert, we've got KOH, we've got the Martelly events, we've got Score, we've got this new Legacy series. I mean, how are you dissecting 2021 and looking at what to run? Because we've got more than ever a lot of options on the table, man. Great question, Jim. We're kind of wanting to wrap this up here with the Baja 1000 win and see what happens for next year. But obviously our heart is in Baja. We love Baja. We love the people down there. We love pre-running. We love everything about going to Mexico. And I think what we saw last weekend in San Felipe was the people of Baja love it. It was busy down there. They missed us. We missed them. So we're going to definitely do all the Baja races next year. And then as far as any sort of race here in the States, like you said, we've got quite a menu to pick from. We've got Best in Desert. We've got the Legacy Series, which is new. We've got the Mid 400 with the Martellys. We've got King of the Hammers with Dave Cole. We've got just a ton of things to think about. And so, really, we don't really know what we're going to do here in the States. We'd love to do them all, but budget reasons and time constraint really doesn't allow us to do that. So our focus next year is certainly all Baja for the Score Series, and then we'll see how the end of this year wraps up, and we'll make a decision, because there's like 5 or 6 races in like a 3-month period. So you got to pick them wisely and go with your gut and go. Yeah. How about I know I see you and your dad. He loves making the annual trip back to Crandon. I know you guys have a ton of fun. You ever had the itch to get behind a Pro 2 or something like that at Crandon, Dan?
I actually raced a Pro 2 at Crandon in 2013. We were at the Nhra rally in April, and I was with Steve and Bryce Menzies, having a few quote unquote sodas, and I was making a joke, and I said, well, I want to go back and talking to Bryce. I said, hey, I want to go back to Crandon and watch you race. And Steve goes, watch? No, you got to race. Let me find you a truck. I said, okay, whatever. Well, a couple weeks later, I get a phone call from Steve like, hey, Scotty Taylor said he would love to rent you his truck, for a small fee. I said, well, of course. So long story short, I raced Scotty Taylor's Pro 2 in 2013, and boy, I have a lot more fun watching, but it is so intense. I remember turn 1, I was like, okay, hang on, and it's. I tell you what, I love my trophy truck after racing Pro 2. It is certainly something else. Those guys are absolutely insane, and I would love to do it again. I think if I do it again, I'd do it in a Pro 4, because I got a little more experience now in a trophy truck with a 4-wheel drive. So, but I do love going back there. I love everything about Crandon. We went last year, and Kid Rock was there, so I don't know how they're going to top that, but we'll definitely be back next year for it. We might race something. I think my dad and I were talking about maybe renting some of those stock trucks and just having fun and going door to door at 40 miles an hour versus 100. So we're not sure yet, but we'll definitely be back.
Yeah, I know Street Bike Tommy was back there, and he's a buddy of mine, and he showed up, and some guy with a stock truck gave him the truck, and Tommy went out there, and he's like, he had the time of his life, and I'm like, I could see almost like a celebrity stock truck division. Just get a bunch of like trophy truck guys and celebrities, and everybody go in there and just bang and bump and have fun.
That would be awesome. Kind of like the all-star celebrity softball game they have before, like the home run derby or whatever. Just like and they could just do it on like the short track. They could just have me, Mark, and Luke, and Andy, and I think Rob and Bryce already raced Pro 2 or Pro 4. So you get a bunch of random people, a couple celebrities from all walks of life, and go door to door. It'd be fun.
Yeah, it'd be a blast, man. But we're up against a time break, buddy. But it was great catching up, man. Congratulations again on the win down there in Baja. We'll definitely be pulling for you in a couple of months at the Baja 1000.
Cool. Hey, thank you, Jim, for having me on. Yeah, I tell you what, it's almost a dream come true. I still really don't believe it, but all the phone calls and texts I've gotten from pretty much everyone makes it seem real. And so we're excited for the Baja 1000. We're going to take what we learned from this race and make it even better at the next one, and hopefully wrap up the year with a win like we started.
Well, thanks a lot, Dan. Always fun catching up with you. And, McMillan family, what can you say? They've given so much to the sport of off-road and, generations going back to Corky. And then, obviously, you got Mark and his brother Scott. And now you've got, the trio of Dan, Luke, and Andy. And, don't forget, there's, Jessica McMillan. McMillan family, it runs deep. It runs deep, and you got to think at some point, Dan's, future kids and Luke's future kids, and obviously Andy's kids, they're going to be the next generation of stars of off-road as well. And, they've done so much, not only for SCORE, but the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame. I encourage you, if you haven't, pick it up. I think Race Desert, I think Dirt Co's got it. You can get the McMillan book, the McMillan family book. And Marty Fiocca wrote it. It's a phenomenal thing. It's basically a piece of off-road history. It's dedicated to the family, but there's so much more than that. And it tells the stories of off-road and, from a time that, wasn't really well documented, but the McMillan archives are phenomenal. And it's really, it's a coffee table book. The thing's thick. It's a couple inches thick, hardcover, beautiful photos. It is absolutely worth owning. If you're not only an off-road fan, but a motorsports fan, check it out, buy it, because I got to tell you, it's probably going to be, something that you look at quite frequently. I flip through it. It's on my desk at the office, and, I got to tell you, there's always something new I find in that book or a photo that I missed. And it's not just, like I said before, all about the McMillans, just off-road in general, a lot of off-road history. And it's a great piece of nostalgia and history, and everybody should own a copy of that book. And I'm fortunate to have one. I know my dad's got one. Mark gave us both, sent us some, and signed them, and just a phenomenal read. And just really, if you don't even read it, just flip through and look at all the pictures. Insane. Really, really good stuff. So, that being said, we're going to take a short commercial break here, and we come back. I guess we got closing thoughts, and we're going to close up the show. It's been a great one, man. This is this one for the books. Matt Martelli, Dan McMillin, Ed Carpenter, Kelly Crandall, a whole lot packed into 2 hours, and I got to tell you, I had a whole heck of a lot of fun hosting it. So we're going to take a short commercial break. We'll be back here to wrap things up right here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm R.J. Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RZRLife to share your story.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back here to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Here wrapping things up with a banger of a show. Big thanks to all our guests, Kelly, Ed, Dan, Matt, for coming on the show. Man, it definitely was a fun one to host. I love shows like this where you get such an eclectic mix of athletes and personalities from so many different disciplines of motorsports, and allow us to go in so many different directions and chat. But yeah, UTV World Championship coming up this next weekend. Tune into the live stream. I will be holding it down on Saturday along with Mia Chapman, and it's going to be Friday as well when I'm racing, so you can tune in, watch the fun. It's going to be a lot of fun out there in Lake Havasu, so really looking forward to that. We will have a show next week. We're just going to slide it in and fit it in when we can. Might end up being a podcast on Podcast One or something like that. But big thanks to all our supporters: General Tire, Polaris Razor, Vision Wheel, Ridgid Industries, Dirtfish, GSPX TV Axles, Optimus Starters, iRacing, everybody that continues to support us. Man, we couldn't do it without you. Don't forget General Tire, they got that promotion going on for the $100 Visa prepaid card when you buy 4 General Tires. We got a promotion going on social media with GSPX TV Axles. We're giving away a free set of axles. Dirtfish, yeah, you want a discount at Dirtfish? Everybody does. They want to go up there and get some classes at Jim Beaver 15, or excuse me, it's just Jim Beaver 15. That will get you a 15% discount on all your classes. And then additionally, we've got a great promotion going with iRacing, PR-Jim Beaver, and that's going to get you a 50% off when you sign up for iRacing. And, man, it's good stuff. BetOnline.ag, use the coupon code podcast1. You want to bet on some sports? Yeah, that one's going to get you a discount as well. So let me tell you, we got a lot of good stuff, a lot of great partners supporting the show, and couldn't do it without them. I am at Jim Beaver 15 on social media. If you want to give me a follow, don't forget, go over to Apple Podcasts, smash the subscribe button. Let them know you like us by leaving a rating as well. If you want to leave a review, it even helps out even more. So lots of good stuff to come here on the show. Like I said, UTV World Championship this weekend. I know been hit up by a few people. No, we won't be on site doing a live radio show, due to COVID-19 and a bunch of other things going on. But, yeah, I can promise you we are going to get back to doing live remote shows next year. My promise is it will happen. I know I miss it as much as you guys do, and I can't wait to get back on site with Tiffany Stone and everybody else and, locking it down and holding it down. I know we're going to have her back, and, Chris Leone with Tower Rankings coming soon. So we're going to get back to a normal schedule here on the show. But, man, it's been crazy. But you guys have a great week, and see you next time on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.